𝙒𝙚𝙡𝙚, 𝙒𝙚𝙡. Grand greetings, abundant blessings to us all. I definitely go by Baba Lex. Welcome back to the channel. We're trying something new today, so bear with us for 2 seconds. Nah, man. Hey. Okay. Because we were supposed to be live a bit earlier, but we've been having such difficulty with connecting. You know, when we go live on these topics, things tend to go haywire. So all I'm doing right now is just situating this right here. Boom. Oh man. Boom. There we go. Decolonize spirit, mind, and the vessel. 𝙒𝙗𝙗𝙗, 𝙒𝙗𝙗𝙗, 𝙒𝙗𝙗𝙗. We're back with the Friday evening teachings. This is the 23rd of May on this Gregorian calendar. Okay? And I feel alive. How y'all feeling? I've got my beautiful structured water available. Okay? And today we weren't able to put up the board. And also we couldn't go live exactly at 8, but we're live now. We're going to be teaching for about an hour according to my first book of teachings, The Law of Attunement Teachings, book 1. Welcome. Please share also those of you into metaphysics, those of you into, let's call it higher consciousness. All right. We're back for these live teachings, but once again, we're back in a major way. This world is shifting. Baba Lex told y'all, if you weren't aware, you're going to be aware now, that as the consciousness raises, it means that we must tap into our emotional intelligence. What does that mean? I'm going to get into that today. But that entails divine feminine rising. Divine feminine rising is not who run the world girls. Okay? That's a physical thing. And that's also egoic. We're talking about the energetic principle within. All right? I've got my structured water this evening. We're filming from Johannesburg. You know, we're also preparing for Sunday, which is Africa Day. All right? For those of us Africans, we know what's happening. The consciousness is raising. Divine Mama is rising, right? In a major way. Okay? So for those of you who are new, I am a master teacher, also a master student of life. All right? I've been teaching for a few years now. You know what I mean? We don't do this for likes. We don't do this for popularity. But TLOA, the Law of Attunement Teachings, this might be backwards to you. But nonetheless, this is decolonize your spirit, mind, and your vessel. And then, yes, as you know, I'm also a author of The Law of Attunement. So these teachings are coming straight from my book. The pre-order link is available in my bio. Please have a look. And also shout out to the Lighthouse Portal all the way from Maui, Hawaii. This is where my book, The Law of Attunement Teachings, book 1, is being independently published through. All right? This is the prototype, but powerful. All right? For those of you interested in my other teachings, I do put the replays onto YouTube. This is at Lex Stays Liquid on my YouTube channel. Please check it out. But tonight, we're going to get into this beauty over here. Decolonize the spirit, the mind, and the vessel, or your body. Okay? The reason why we've framed it as vessel is because we are 70 to 90% water. We think, or you think, we are taught, we are conditioned, we're going to get into this today, that this is oxygen, this is air we are breathing. Okay? That is the conditioning. But we're going to get into that because that's how we become colonized. Not just in one thing. Everyone thinks colonization, they think white person. They think, yes, for sure, you know, but also white, black, Indian, Asian, blah, blah, that's all misnomers. It's all just grades. We're all grades of melanin. All right? Simple. And mitochondrial Eve is a jet black African woman. If you want to find someone who's closest to mitochondrial Eve, the first woman, okay, that's what she would look like, because the darkness, what you say black, the shade, has all the light and life possibilities collapsed in itself. Perfect. So before we kick off nicely, swipe right to view some comments. All right, do we have some comments in the house today? Oops. See, I swiped myself out of there. If we have some comments, please leave some comments. But once again, we're here to teach. We can do Q&A at the end. I might have my moderator jump in, but once again, today it is Friday evening. People are doing their own thing. Right here, we focused on raising our consciousness. We're focused on also doing the education behind it. We're focusing on getting the education which is not whitewashed. Okay? Hence why we're here. So, in terms of housekeeping, yeah, we might have the Lighthouse portal in here, but if not, that's all good. For those of you who are new, please just check out all of my other stuff. Check out all of the other teachings. Also, please pre-order my book, The Law of Attunement Teachings, Book 1. This is the prototype. Okay, this is not the actual one, but this is the prototype. All right. Took me about 5 to 6 years to write this bad boy. But once again, it's a higher consciousness thing. We've had to cleanse ourselves first, all right, through the power of water. We are 70 to 90% of water. This is the basis of, it's the foundation of the law of attunement, all right? Shout out to everyone who's joining. Who's that asking a question over here? AJ_ghost.mandate, how you feeling? The name is the Law of Attunement. See, I should have had my boards up here, but guess what? As I'm about to go live, I start to get glitches. It always happens when we're teaching real truth, okay? So for those of you who are unaware, I teach on a Friday and on a moon day, which is a Monday. And then on Sundays, I do a Sunday sermon. So that's just basically topical, but it's also got to do with everything consciousness, higher consciousness. It's moving from the bottom 3 chakras higher up. So it's not concerned with just survival, sex, and feasting. You know, fornication. This is structured water. I'm going to do a live where I teach how to structure your water by yourself. As long as you can boil your water, if you're hitting tap water, you need to now stop, because that is calcifying you further, especially Tina, Mzansi, in South Africa. Everything here is designed to kill us. If you're aware, you're aware. If not, continue on that red pill. Okay? Sorry, which one is it? Blue pill. Okay, so for those of you who are studious, this is my notes. Once again, I also consolidate this with information which is available through sources. Whenever I reference a source, I'll let you know where that source is from, so you can also go and do your own research. You see? Otherwise, most of my information comes from the sun. Once again, in order to receive from the sun, from solar, ilanga, what you have to do is cleanse yourself. You have to cleanse the vessel. It's also in my book, The Law of Attunement Teachings, Book 1. Once again, if you check my YouTube channel, everything is there. I put all of these replays and these teachings at Lex Stays Liquid on YouTube. You can check all of that. They are long format. It's not a, you have to be available to receive the information, all right? Because it's a higher consciousness. Once again, This will help you spark you and your DNA, your blood crystal, okay, your sacred waters, which hold all the information and memory. It's got more memory than Jesus. It's got more memory than anything available here, right? Tap into your DNA, depending on also where you're from, where your DNA is truly of origin. That can allow you to tap further into the cosmos, all right? Once again, these teachings are available on my channel. And also do your own research. Don't be scared. The aim of the Age of Aquarius is to walk the path. It's no good just watching someone there, oh yes, ha ha ha, or studying everything, reading books only, or getting all the information. Yes, that's good, for sure. Because that's where the colonizer, doesn't matter what it is or who it is, okay, we notice we're not going to give it a name, or we're not going to point fingers at it. Colonizer, in this sense, in these teachings, is basically, as a foundation, it's something which is not allowing you to be you originally. Simple. Whoops. No anything in between, which is from a sect, from a belief, from, okay? This is a foundation which any Tom, Dick, Harry, Tandeka, Tabo, wherever you're from, can grasp this information, put the information in your formation, and put it in formation. Put it through your grid, through your chakras, through your organs, through your glands. Okay? You see, it's also in my book, The Law of Attunement Teachings. All of this is there. I also just, it was about 2 weeks ago or a week ago, we did a strong ago. Okay, we changed the spells. Not weakness, strength. So in the weak days, weakened. Hence by the weekend, you're weakened. You see, so all of the spells also go into our waters. Okay, we 70 to 90% water. That means that if you look at what they call cymatics, just go onto YouTube. TICS. They reverberate onto a plate, different frequency hertz. Those hertz, okay, could be 369, could be whatever the case may be, right? And then that plate has salt grains on it. Those salt grains arrange themselves in different sacred geometrical patterns according to the frequency. So also, spells carry a frequency. Whenever you speak death, guess what comes into your life? Okay? Whatever music you listen to, whatever's in your mind, whatever's in your frequency, in your aura, in your fields, whatever's there, you will experience. Because it's an insperience, right? It's a feedback loop. You are your own feedback loop. This is why you have to decolonize. See the top there? This is why I had to put that up, because they removed my boards. When I was coming up, they removed my boards. TikTok, thank you. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. All right? Once again, we're here on the 23rd of May, 2025. Decolonize the spirit, mind, and body, or vessel, as we like to say here. Right? Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you have questions, I'll take Q&A at the end. All right? So guys, let's continue. So just before we also, kick in too hard, shout out Africa Day on Sunday. Sunday the 25th of May is Africa Day. Let us come together. This is a call to action for everyone on the continent, in the diaspora. Let's represent where we're from, but also let's unite. Okay? Because this is part of colonization. Colonization is divide and conquer, but we're going to get into that today. Okay? So Sunday, wear your apparel if you can. Wear your flags. Let's talk everything liberation. Let's talk everything freedom. But first, free the dome. Hence why, decolonize. You must decolonize the spirit, the mind, and the physicality. Otherwise, then what? Okay? You see? So Please, let's come together on that. And then Ramaphosa and Trump. Wow, that's shocking. I'm not going to say much. Obviously, you know, Baba Lex here. I don't give a shit about politics. It's a trick. Anyway, so all I have to say is they're playing their game. As long as it doesn't free us, it's the same thing. So make it run. As long as you're not involved directly, there's nothing to worry about. You feel me? All right. And then basically, there's a lot of confusion happening. So if you find yourself getting pushed and pulled by so much information that you feel dizzy every day, that's good. Because this age of Aquarius means that there's so much truth, but also the truth is mixed in with the lie. But where is the lie? The lie lies in belief. Because if you spell belief in between belief, there's a lie. Where did I write that down? In between belief, there's a lie. If you write down the word belief, okay? Right there. See? So when you hold a belief, that entails there's a lie available. Okay? Shout out Chongo. Shout out Sipokazi Pos. How you feeling? Shout out Ellis Brown. Shout out Bafana Ngube. Quick sticks, guys. Thank you for joining. Anyway, as we continue. So anytime you hold a belief, someone or something is lying or has lied to you. Point blank, period. There's no if you blah blah. No, you have to know. Because now this age of Aquarius means that we are stepping into a knowing. If you have a belief, once again, that means that the lie is somewhere. You have to figure out where that lie is. But once again, this is why we're here. I will show you exactly how to identify where you yourself are perhaps bamboozled. Perhaps that conditioning hit you too much, okay? Even like myself, this is why we had to decolonize. Not only the physicality, the body, but we had to also decolonize the mind and then spirituality. Because even me, myself, I went through different religions and then atheism, then religious again, okay? Boop, 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 ping pong, bop, 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 confusion, because this is what's available. We're not taught from a foundation. We're taught from beliefs. When you're taught from a belief, once again, there will be a lie. Keep that in your mind. Okay. So the spirit of confusion is available on purpose. It's meant to be this way, whether you are religious or not. Number one, I'll show you that also now to decolonize the spirit has got to do with religion. Okay, so number one, let's start with the foundations. All right, we're kicking off with the foundations. Shout out official TM. How you feeling, man? Okay, and then always, whenever you're going into a higher consciousness state of being, you answer your whys everywhere. You don't just do things to do things. You're not just there just to be there. You don't just get there dizzy. Huh? No. You see? That means intention. But in order for you to live from an intention or to be intentional, you need to know your whys. Otherwise, you see, it's not difficult. This is not rocket science, but also it's part of decolonizing your whole design. All right? So the foundations are conditioning. Number one, I've already spoke about beliefs already. That's one of the foundations of of colonization. So conditioning, let's start at conditioning. We've already run through beliefs, but conditioning is, let's define conditioning, because I've done this already. Decolonization of the poor African body, mind, and spirit. Funny enough, this is crazy. You know, you cannot make this up. Cannot make this shit up. I did this 23rd of December 2024. Shout out, Slum. How you feeling, man? How to heal a migraine. Number one, don't just come in guns blazing. You can see I'm teaching. This is about decolonizing your spirit, mind, and body. First and foremost, stop eating what you're eating. What you can do is, if it's in your afternoon and you've already eaten, it's late for you. Stay fasted. Drink water. Go outside. Take the sun. Take off your shoes. Ground in the earth. Start there. You will heal plenty already. Yeah, you probably headache from alcohol. Stop it. Alright, so this is where I did the decolonization of the poor African. So you could already see my energy was already seeing what was going to be happening with what's happening in Africa now. You see what I mean? I just follow my highest self through knowing through the sun. Upon rising, not only sun gazing, but grounding, feet in the soil, grass, okay? Exchanging the energy, the information, so that your cells already are ready to receive, okay? So I already gave the definition. So let's define colonization. Colonization is the action or the process of settling among and establishing control over indigenous people of a land. So that's where appropriation comes in. Land appropriation. Out here they say land appropriation without compensation. Yeah, it's all. Wow, politics will get you dizzy. That's why I'm not involved there. It's a game. Politics, you call it. Still, there's a bloodsucker there. Ticks. You see? So, colonization, let me read the definition again. This is from the dictionary. Colonization is the action and or process of settling among and establishing control over indigenous people of a land. So, you see, I will add to that land. It could be a physical land, a mental land, or a spiritual land. See that? See? Right? So now, what we are going to do is speak about how not only do the foundations of colonization, stem through conditioning, beliefs, but also doctrines. What is a doctrine? A doctrine is also a set of rules, regulations, beliefs to follow as truth. See? From another's eye. So you're following another's truth or another's belief. That's indoctrinated. That's why they say when you go to school, you become indoctrinated. Because, especially us, 𝙒𝙗𝙚𝙗𝙖 in South Africa. I don't know about the other continents, the other countries on the continent, but we don't get taught about the true African or Kemet history. They don't even tap there. If they tap there, they're tapping about Madiba, maybe. If they're tapping there, they're tapping Malcolm X a little bit. You see? They're not tapping into school. Don't tap into Melanated his story or her story. See, because also her story means we used to be a matriarchal society. Not to say who run the world girls, but it's more of a co-creation and a reverence for the divine feminine. But there was no twerking everywhere. Same time, you see? There was none of that there, you see? But once again, we've all fallen spiritually, mentally, and physically. Conditioning, beliefs, doctrines. That is the foundation of colonization. So guys, are we together? Shout out to everybody who's joining. Is that Slump? You still out here? Shout out winner man Joy L. Shout out everybody. Please continue sharing. All right. So this will be on a replay on my YouTube channel at Lex Stays Liquid. Please just look out for that. But once again, these are the foundations we require to get out of the programs. It's not because, yes, I've dumbed these teachings down slightly, but it has to be foundational of, number one, where it came from, so that we know where we're headed in order to know where we are. Or you know where we came from to know where we are in order to know where you're headed. But you always create the future from now. Every now moment creates the future. There's no such thing as fate. That's a misnomer. It's a glitch in what? Colonization. Remember, colonization has to be conditioning, beliefs, and doctrines. You have those three, CBD, and I'm not talking about the CBD we like on the other side, you see, but conditioning, beliefs, doctrines. Write that down. Once again, this will be on a replay. The foundations of colonization is conditioning, beliefs, and doctrines. Okay? Now, the foundation also over here, we have to ask ourselves, why and from who? Where's this ish coming from? Yeah, buff. Where's that shit coming from? Huh? And then why? Once again, we are born into sin, right? Sin simply means born onto a sine wave function or into a sine wave function. What does this sine wave function look like? It looks like this. That's a sine wave function under belief. See, there's a lie there. Anyway, that's a sine wave function. So when they say you're born into sin, you're born into an electromagnetic plane of existence. Right? That is the plane. That is the plane. And then you're born in sin. So this is your ups and downs in life. That's your rhythm also. Right? It speaks to your circadian rhythm. It speaks to what you call destiny. Or it speaks to what you say fate. No, that's a series of selections amongst the choices. There's a plethora of choices. You must select. But if you're unconscious or you're conditioned, believed up, and doctrined up, you're colonized. So all of those choices will come from your CBDs, your conditioning, beliefs, and doctrines. See? Got a question over here, I think. Oh, Slump says, shout out Jennifer Cock 5. Sign repeats itself, makes sense. There's reincarnation. Yes, sir. This is an electromagnetic frequency bandwidth of information with which we are in. All right, this physicality is the dream. The reality is the dream, but this reality is the dream, and your dreams are the reality. See? But this is what's merging. That's why you will have more deja vus, more deja days. Okay? You will tend to think more these days of something, someone, and they hit you up maybe. Quick text. Yeah. I was just thinking of you. It's because of frequencies. And now, since the electromagnetic, or what is it, whatever's that thing covering the dome or whatever, covering the UVC rays, solar rays from coming in, because now they ground level, even at night. We're swimming in solar radiation. UV radiation. Ultraviolet radiation, we're swimming in it. It's available. That's why a lot of anomalies are taking place in the spirit, mind, and vessel. Also, turbo cancers and things. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Okay? We need to now start to take heed of what's taking place. All right? Once again, we say why and from whom. Why? From whom? From whom wants to keep the third dimensional veils and this colonization available. For why? For control. Which means it's a parasite. Parasitical. So this colonizer, it's an entity, it's an energy. It's something which also can go through beings. It can also be ideologies. It can be beliefs, can be conditioning, can be doctrines. You see? So colonizer is not one being. You must remove that basic one-track mind. Otherwise, you won't see anything. See? So guys, Slump asked the question. So do you think TikTok can sense frequencies? Because anything you think of pops out. No, not just TikTok. But what they do is they trying to trick people into giving your power away to artificial intelligence. But number one, as you know, Slump, artificial intelligence, right? Artificial cannot be intelligent. Intelligence is not artificial. One more time. Artificial cannot be intelligent. Intelligence is not artificial. And vice versa. See? The two are not in the same WhatsApp group at all. It's a bamboozling. Once again, how do I know? You know now. You don't have to, what? Believe. You don't have to believe, because that is through conditioning. Through a doctrine. You see that one? So what it does is they've already been doing this through your cellular devices, especially those of you utilizing the one who bit the apple, Eve. You see? Inside this crystal, which you call a cell phone, a cellular device, what it has transceivers, just like you have in this thing you call a brain. There's a crystal in there, a really beautiful, special crystal, which through the conditioning, your CBDs, conditioning, beliefs, doctrines, is the foundation of your colonization of your mind, also your spirit, and therefore your body. See, the unseen governs the seen. The spiritual, then the mental, and then the physicality will give that life in this realm. See? Okay. So, those of you who say from whom, say Abraxas, 𝙎𝙘𝙝, Lucifer, I say Yeshua, Jesus, it's all the same being. Okay? Once you remove your CBDs, conditioning beliefs, doctrines, you will see. Simple. Alright? Now we move into number 2, colonization, right? So colonization, it equals, or its main design is divide and conquer. Okay. So now, if you're looking at colonization, divide and conquer tactics, that reminds me of Sun Tzu. Okay, there's a book called The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Right? It's a nice little pocket book as well. I read that through my awakening as well, my hard awakening. If I'm not mistaken, around 2018. I read it like 5-6 times because those tactics never change. Remember, you think that the war stopped or that colonizers stopped at slavery. Boom, bamboozled. Boom, got you. Got you. You dizzy. That spirit of confusion, why? You need to decolonize immediately because you're a danger to yourself and your people. That's what's happening with the colonization. People that look like us, even Cupcake, Squirrel, man, what was he doing that side? Guys, listen, there's no need for us to ask for anything, anywhere, anything outside of the continent. Okay, you see this crystal in these devices? They need stuff, minerals from here. The reason why it's not changing for us who are awakened, who are the youth, who are now upcoming, and is because they still geezers and they've signed contracts. They have been colonized. Okay? They don't have a choice. Most of them. If they do, they still in the ego mind. Okay? So they're afraid of the consequences. They're still a coward. Right? But they're eating from their people. The plates of their people directly. You see? So this is what's course correcting by itself. You don't have to worry too much or three much about what the other person is doing. That's where also divide and conquer happens. Distraction. That's what they mean by distractions. You're too busy watching there. Leave that. Leave that alone. While they're doing that, things are disappearing here. Whoop, 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 whoop. By the time you look here, oh, you didn't see shit. Oh, whoa. Nothing to see here. It's all okay. Showcase. I mean, Palafala Farm. Come on, guys. I mean, hello. Are we dumb or what? You see, we must stop giving, grace to idiots, even if they look like us. But it's part of decolonization. And also, this is why Baba Lex, myself, I'm not part of any sect or any politics. Because there, I have to sell myself. See? That's a 0. That's a fat 0. Okay. Shout out, Slump. Exactly. We do not need their help. Cupcake sold us. Yes, my brother. See? Cupcake Squirrel is a problem to his self. You know that, for those of you who are unaware, he was supposed to show up in court, if I'm not mistaken, while he was there in Trump lab. Wow. Did anyone pick that up? Was it in the news? Dololo. Shout out, First Lady. How you feeling? So, once again, the foundations of colonization is CBD. Conditioning, beliefs, doctrines. Simple. Once we identify those within us, and how and why and where and when. This is also speaking to shadow work. Let's run shadow work, guys. Shadow work is a very tough thing. But once again, it's either you do it or it's going to do you based off of what's happening with the sun. Everything that's happening in your body now, that uncomfortability we're feeling. Let me guess. What did you just eat? What did you just eat? See? We must take stock of what we take in. There's a lot of heavy metals in things. The way that things are slaughtered, the way they mass slaughtered. Also, the way they put in plastics, they called phthalates. The way they put things in amans, in the tap water. All of this switches off this crystal. But going back to slump, this crystal interacts with the crystal in the phones. That's why when you're saying you thought of something, it comes up in some searches. It's because of how tethered are you to this crystal. Do you always have it close to your dome? Yeah? So you always just, you know those people who always have their shits here. Always just, yeah, trying to shake their hand, or they always like this. This means that, of course, this is energetic waypoints. Okay? These are energetic waypoints. So this is why when you do this, even just like this, just do your tips of your fingers, just rub them like this. For those of you who are unaware, you'll start to feel tingles. Do it like this. You can feel a lot of energy. So directly, this crystal is going through you. But depending on which hand, which side, left, right, masculine, feminine, feminine, receive, masculine, give. You need to know yourself. Even in our traditions, that's why you receive in certain hands. You give in certain hands. This is all things which is part of nature. This is why I was laughing at the other guy who came in and said, blah, blah. No. African spirituality is nature. Nature is African spirituality. We've been doing this more than you. It's just that now the distortions and the conditioning through colonization. Colonization, the foundation of colonization is the CBDs. Okay? Conditioning, beliefs, doctrines. Simple. You don't have to look far. And now, those that look like us, especially our parents, abazali bethu, they will perpetuate the same bull dust. But they'll stop somewhere. Certain things traditional, other things, what? You see? So there's a lot of distortion, for sure. Shout out First Lady for all the gifts. Oh, Tagas, we do appreciate love. Okay, let's continue with these teachings so that we can continue this beautiful momentum and finish off as quick as possible. I know some of you want to go and party and all of that. Myself, we're on structured water. I've got to get to my meditation as well. We're also preparing the energy for Sunday. I'm going to be in Randburg. For those of you who want to touch base, send me a message here on TikTok. Otherwise, I'm not going to be doing anything hectic. Otherwise, I might be settling at a certain place, at an African place. Should they be open? Should they be available? But I'm just going to do a bit of a meet and greet and let people know what they want to know. Those of you who want to also connect in terms of independence, grow our independence. I'm going to be speaking on how to do that. But also, it starts with decolonizing the spirit, the mind, and our vessels, our bodies. We cannot eat what they eat, but we'll get there. We cannot do what they do, but we'll get there. All right? So, colonization is divide and conquer. For you to learn that more, as I refer to the book by Sun Tzu, The Art of War. The Art of War. It's a nice pocketbook. Oh, beautiful. That one there, it's going to allow you to see all of these tactics. They don't change over time. Time change. They don't change over time, but time change. See? You must know this. You don't have to believe. You need to now know. All right? So, divide and conquer is dangerous and deadly because once the seed is planted, it doesn't need anyone actively as a whatever the colonizer is to be there to enact it, that whatever it is. Once the seed is there, it's wildfire. It's insidious. It's very creepy crawly. Okay? So now, the three types of colonization as we see: the spiritual, the mental, and the physical. Spiritual is definitely religion. Spoiler alert. Yeah. Yes, because what is the foundation? We're always going to go back to the foundation of what colonization is. It's the CBD: conditioning, belief, and doctrines. Conditioning, beliefs, and doctrines. What does religion have in it as a foundation? Conditioning, beliefs, and doctrines. Boom. Done. You do with that what you may. In terms of cleansing, once again, do reach out if you are serious about holistic health coaching. All right? Once again, the spiritual colonization, which we need to decolonize, is religion. If you're confused, be in the spirit of self, which is nature, which is natural. African spirituality is a very good blueprint, okay? Because it's just nature, okay? The mental colonization is therefore the conditioning, the beliefs, and the doctrines. It's the actual foundation. That the foundation of colonization is what also directly impacts the mental colonization. Okay? Because your beliefs or our beliefs determine our behaviors. Okay? We believe that Yeshua is coming down to save all of us. We're going to believe, we're going to behave as such. We're not going to change our minds. We're not going to change our behavior. We're not going to change shit. We're just going to be in victim mode. Whoops. Simple. Okay? Enter then victim mentality. Okay? And then the physical colonization. Wow, hectic. Because all of us, I mean, all of us, but the physical, everybody has been tapped. This has tapped everyone's chin. Okay? The physical colonization is capitalism. Or you can call it patriarchy, which is the entire system. The patriarchal system. Okay? Which is capitalism. Alright? It's the rat race. It's ready, on your marks, get set, go. Placements. Competition culture. Okay? Hustle culture. Burnout culture. Burnout for days. Yes, wow. Sleep 7 hours, you wake up tired. What? See, physical colonization also is in the mineral deficiencies. Boom. Okay? Which lead to hormonal imbalances. This physical colonization is based off of what is in our, this is a long list, but you'll be able to see this on the replay. Ancestral. Okay, so let me start again. The spiritual, mental, and physical colonization as a whole, all of this colonization up here, stems from or affects the ancestral, the blood crystal, the DNA, the bones, the melanin or lack thereof, the indoctrinations, the grooming, the pedophilia or and thereof, or sexual assault. I mean, this is for education and entertainment purposes only. Have to say the full words. Okay, trauma or traumas, food, which is the biggest drug. Okay, pharmaceuticals, money as a ritual. Okay, because of the fact that on all notes everywhere, but especially the Western note, which pretty much has been the driving force, okay, for the IMF, the World Banks, okay, is the dollar, right? It's the symbolism on there, as well as the fact that there's been dead beings on there, beings who no longer exist in this physical realm, apparently. Okay, so this is all dark witchcraft. It's negative witchcraft in front of our faces. Also family, and then we'll go into also in the water, in our gut microbiome. I mean, our three brains, we've got the mind brain, the gut brain, and the heart brain. Okay, and then archons, aka demons, aka entities, aka parasites. So a parasite is the physical manifestation of a archon or a demon or a entity, right? And then we said, did we say family? Because that's where morals are born or are instilled. Notice that spell, instilled, right? So all of these forms of colonization make up what you call your fate or your destiny. Okay? Because should you be in the state that you are as colonized, and then you go through a cleansing, a detoxification of the spirit, the mind, and the vessel, I mean, once again, you have to take the time out. You have to remove people, places, things of material, which you have been conditioned into, not only belief, but doctrined into, that that is the way of life, when it's actually killing you. Slow death, turbo cancers, dis-ease, heart issues. Oh, you're only 30 years old. See, all of these things are taking place because of colonization. What is colonization? It just means that you are not able to be originally you. What are these things spiritually, mentally, and physically? Not just as what we're putting out in the foundation, but we must each take stock in our own life. Okay, I see you over there. I'm not able to see because, right? But this is what we call shadow work, going into your own darkness. But going into your darkness entails meeting the childlike version of you, not the childish version. Throwing your toys tantrum, 70 years old, throwing a tantrum. Oh yeah, wow. It happens, and it's available. You see, which is emotional unintelligence stemming from traumas, and also, once again, between the ages of 0 and 7 in this lifetime, in this now life. That is the immediate conditioning, beliefs, and doctrines, the CBDs which we receive, and not, once again, the CBD which we're talking about. Shout out, Slum. Okay? Once we take heed of all of this, number one, we begin to cleanse. See what religion means to you. Okay? Identify what it is in this religion exactly. Take the scriptures, whatever it is that you are into. Okay? Whatever it is that you have been CBD'd into, conditioned, believed, doctrined into, in terms of religion. Now you read it up, you get all of the information you can. You run your self-experiments, put that information through your formation, okay? But once again, the spiritual cleansing is quite deep if your physical or your physicality is still backed up with all of the programming, okay? The dead flesh, because in the dead flesh, that you are running another entity's energy through you for energy. So how that thing spent its final days, you will feel now while you're living. That's why when you move after you eat maybe a lunch or you, whatever the case, you're feeling good, next thing, boom, whoops, oh, I just feel so anxious and These things are taking place. Okay, we need to now start to take stock. Okay, and stop eating the stock. Wow. All right. So the conditioning runs deep, and especially when it comes to family. Family are the ones who will keep you right there, even as you can make a lot of progress. You can gang with your progress. Boom, boom, boom. Take major steps, especially if you move away from family. But then as soon as you maybe move back, move closer, wow, it's very wild. There's no more moments for us now or space for us to backtrack. We cannot titter-totter or teeter-totter. We cannot walk the line anymore, because this energy through the solar UV radiation, that ultraviolet radiation through the solar is not only UVA, UVB, but UVC solar radiation. What that's doing is it's tapping into our ancestral information, into our blood crystal, into our DNA. Whether you like it or not, you feel it. You go through it maybe at night, in the comfort of your own room, in silence. You suffer in silence. Okay? That's because we are colonized. And especially us TLOA, not eMzansi only, but along the continent, even the diaspora. Those of you who are starting to feel calls to go back or come back to the motherland, because Mama Africa is rising in a major way. It means that feminine energy, which is cold, which is negatively charged in nature. Okay, this is what structures water, negatively charged ions. Okay, it's called easy water. All right, this is what happens in healthy cells. All right, so if we're not tapped into our waters, we're not tapped into our emotions, because the water element governs emotions. Hence why my book, The Law of Attunement Teachings, we refer to our emotions as waters, the waters within. Should your waters be imbalanced, off key, you, watermatically, will be off key. Okay? That means you are emotionally unintelligent. That means that you are swayed by anything, come what may. That is based off your CBDs. conditioning, beliefs, and doctrines. Also, once again, it's the food that we put into our guts, which change our microbiome. The microbiome is what, this gut brain is what gives you your intuition. You don't get intuition from up here in this faculty, the pineal. No, you get it from your guts. Hence, gut feeling. Oh, I knew I shouldn't have gone there. That feels off. Hello? See? We must now begin to tap into these powers because they are superpowers. But first, cleanse. We cleanse the physical. You see how we came in? Spirit, mind, vessel. That's how we were colonized. First. But then to remove even programming, to remove yourself from the colonized state of being, you now have to go back out the way you came in. Okay? Now, vessel or body, mind, spirit. You now have to watch what you are ingesting. Enter Baba Lex. All right, wow. So this is what you're teaching with your book, The Law of Attunement Teachings. Right. Take a fast. But also, every month, on the full moon for 3 days, 3 days, 72 hours, all right? We do my 72-hour water-only full moon fast. The reason why it's not the full moon, number one, we see what we call the shadow. It's illuminated. It's available. What do we do? Shadow work. What is the basic explanation of what the shadow is, Baba Lex? The basic explanation of what a shadow is the child version of you which has put so many masks on, goblins, ghouls, fake veils, because it is traumatized. Not only in this life, but from birth. Remember, as soon as you are birthed, you are slapped, you are hit with UV light rays. Sorry, not UV, hit with false light. Okay, already. False light, and you know how bright those lights are. Swing! You're hearing other things now. They're slapping your bums. You're already going through the most upon entrance. Then, now, some places, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only, you're getting maybe 4 or 5 jabs. 4, 5, 6, up to 12, 13 jabs. You just entered. You just got here. You just landed. That is what we say the trauma between the ages of 0 and 7. See, whether you remember or not, it's available in your waters. And also, speaking of the waters, they poison all of the waters under the pretense of divide and conquer. Remember, we said that up here. It is the tactic of colonization. Oh, no, we're going to help you out. We're going to cleanse that water. Okay, cool. They say fluoride. Okay. But then they add fluoride and this, and then they try and justify the bullshit. So they've already given you a false foundation. And then they justify the false foundation. So when you go back and try and rectify the false foundation, you cannot even rectify the false foundation, because when you rectify it, it's still false. What? So what am I doing? You see? What is the purpose? There is no purpose, because there's no foundation. The colonizer relies upon the conditioning of divide and conquer. Once you yourself in your own cells are divided, you will conquer yourself. And not in a good way, in a bad way. See? Simple. So as we are closing off right here and finishing off, to decolonize the spirit, mind, and the vessel is very simple. Take a fast. You fast from people, places, and things, but fast from the stuff which has been your CBD. The conditioning, beliefs, and doctrines. Journal. Take stock of what it is. What has it done to you, for you, or to even just your family or the people around you? Maybe your neighbor. What has that religion done for the people that look just like you over these years? Who gets rich? Follow the money. Because remember, money is a ritual. This will be on a replay, so check this out again. Take stock of all of this, just for you. You will come to your whys. And then as you continue to be conscious, become consciously consistent. TM. Okay? Consciously consistent means that you are not the hypochondriac. You're not a weirdo wild child, just always obsessive, compulsive disorder. You are aware, awake, observing. You don't always have to engage, because you receive. To give is to receive, and to receive is to give. Decolonize the mind and receive higher codes through your DNA, especially if you come from the motherland. Aye, we pray. No, we don't pray, because praying means that something preys upon you. Simple. It's in the spells that we spell to our cell. Once again, this has been a Friday evening teachings. Decolonize your spirit, your mind, your body. This has been the foundational. We're going to build on this. But first, build on yourself. But build off a foundation that actually has integrity. Integrity means that whether you are looking or not, whether there's someone or not, it remains the same. You uphold who you are, not for fame. I go by Baba Lex one more again. Please have a beautiful, safe Friday evening. This is another teaching by myself through the Law of Attunement Teachings. Pre-order of my first book of teachings available. Please support the brother as we continue to support you energetically. Sunday is Africa Day. Hashtag Africa Unite. And please do remain blissful. Well, stay liquid. In a major way. In a major way. In a major way. Please.